What's up everybody, Matthew Allen here. Today we're going to talk about one of the biggest efficiency tricks in Xactimate and how to use it. So let's hit it. Bingo! Shake and bait, blow it up. Macros are really amazing, and unlike other pieces of software that use things that they call macros, we're not actually going to record a macro. In Xactimate, a macro is pretty much simply just a template. So you're going to create a series of line items that you want to have in a room, and then you select them all, and then you can save those as a macro that can be recalled at any time, so that you can just pop things straight into your estimate without having to go through and recreate line by line by line by line. Every single roof estimate or every single drywall estimate or whatever it is that you're doing, you can just pop it in there and just a couple of keystrokes, you're done, and it's in there. Macros have a few key benefits, primarily so that you don't forget to put things into your estimate. The things that I forget in estimates, if I'm just writing an estimate completely from scratch with no macros, are going to be things like angle stops, detach and reset satellite dishes, just little things like that. So a macro, once you figure out what all those things are and you put them all into your room, or you get a macro from somebody else and you can install those into Xactimate, then all you got to do is pop in your baseboard macro or your room macro. Like if you have a generic macro for water damage to flooring and walls, you can make a whole giant macro that has everything you could possibly need for those line items with notes and everything else, and you just hit a couple of keystrokes and boom, you're done. It's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, it's pretty awesome because you can add claims to your day so that you're getting that production number up that we talked about, and that's where you're going to be making money and you're going to be getting new claims so that by the end of the storm you have done more claims and have made more money, and everybody all the way around loves that. All right, to create a macro, all you have to do is select the line items that you want. It'll bring up a dialog box. You type in what you want to name your macro, and in this case we're going to call it 300 sketch because we're replacing a laminate shingle. The category code for that, or the selector code, is 300S. We'll just call it 300 and sketch so that we know it's a sketch one and not just a generic one. We can pull it back up, and boom, there it is. And you can also apply this directly to your sketch diagram. So you just select your diagram, if it's a room or if it's a roof, select everything that you want to apply your macro to, hit Control M, pick the macro that you want to use, and bada bing, there it goes. Easy as pie. One of the great things about Xactimate is that you have this functionality. You can get through estimates pretty quickly. You can change these macros at any time, and one of the great things about these macros is that, like, once you save a macro while you're in an estimate, it saves it in like your sort of general macro folder. So any estimate that you go into that you've already created, you can pull up that same macro. It'll show up in your macro list. Any new estimate that you create is going to show up in that macro list, so you can use it at any time in any estimate after you've created it. And this is really helpful if you get a bunch of macros from a friend, or your manager or your field support, somebody's got some macros for you, or the carrier has some macros that they want you to use. It's as simple as just drag and dropping it right into Xactimate, and then boom, there they are for any estimate that you need. It's super helpful. Macros are probably one of the greatest things about Xactimate. All right, that's all for today, guys. Go ahead and head on over to adjustertv.com/new adjuster, where I've got a detailed guide for the 7 steps to getting deployed on your first storm there, where you can download it for free. And stay tuned, because next week on Thursday, I've got a whole new video on drones and whether or not you should buy one for catastrophe work. It's worth checking out. Okay, let me know in the comments below if you would like for me to create some macros for the most common storm types. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And most of all, have a great storm, guys.